What's up, dudes? Here, my name's Scyushi, and we're back to some more Trove. This is a long overdue tutorial that I ended up getting a request for more recently, and I thought, okay, you know what? I checked my list, and here we are. So this is the block element tutorial because a lot of players are wondering, where do you get block element? First, let's talk about what it is utilized for. Namely, it is going to be used for the block stat, the combat block, and it's also going to end up being used in the new gear crafting. Well, I say new, it's not new anymore per se, but there's all this crazy stuff, and then there's all this crazy stuff, and forging stuff is essentially going to cost you a lot of block element. Then there's also going to end up being the terminus here, which requires a lot of other additional block element and whatever else. So where do you actually get block element? Loot collecting gear. It's a new resource that's been systematically just added into the game that, again, new is not really the most relative of terms, just in terms of the overarching time that I've spent on Trove, and most of you have, it's a newer resource. Maybe you're a returning player or whatever. And so loot collecting gear is the easiest way to get it. So how do you end up grinding block element? Just getting gear. That's it. Now, the thing is, it doubles because there's also going to end up being tempered block element, which is a resource required for some of the later stuff. Where is the tempered block element? It's either used for the crafting or it was used for these higher tiers in the skill tree or something. Point being is tempered block element is a resource that you are going to need for other things. That's going to be this right here. You get tempered block element out of gear crafter vaults. So what that means is to kill two birds with one stone, you are going to basically be trying to farm for gear crafter vaults as efficiently as possible, because gear crafter vaults will give you gear, which can loot collect for block element. The boxes also give block element, but they also give you the tempered block element. Now, what's the most efficient way of grinding those boxes? Well, there's a couple options. If you are completely solo, in most cases, I'd recommend Forbidden Spires, just because this biome, for whatever reason, just has the most elite mobs, and just the way that the dungeons generate, they most of all seem to be a lot closer to one another. So suffice to say, in my experience, when you're playing solo, this is the most efficient way. Granted, you are sacrificing the fact that you're not going to be grinding end game or other aspects of the game. This is just solely if you're going for block element. The other big option is higher tiers of sundered uplands, more particularly in D13 or D14. Mostly D13, you'll end up finding the ship dungeons. So the 5-star dungeons that can spawn in sundered uplands, there's either the tower, which is the really long one that has multiple layers and floors, or there's the one that players call the ship, which is the big boxy one. So if you can end up finding a group of people that's already doing those, that's going to be your most efficient way of actually getting the boxes, just because it's pretty much one of the fastest ways of completing dungeons as possible. And that'll end up just giving you so many of those gear crafter vaults, as well as like tons of other things that you can efficiently do with chips and so on and so forth. But again, that really depends on whether or not you have a group. So it's up to you. Now, if you're not trying to like 100% go for gear crafter vaults, then frankly speaking, just play the game and you'll get them. Like, you can just be doing geode, you could just be doing long shade if you're high enough at the end of the game, or just elemental worlds. Doesn't really matter. The point is that the most efficient way of getting block element is going to be out of these boxes. So do you want to just farm for it specifically? Or if you're just getting it passively, then frankly speaking, you'll get it passively no matter what you do, just because it drops from virtually everything. Anyway, short video, but just needed to get that out there because a lot of people still ask about this one. So it's another thing that we can check off the list. Thanks for watching. Smash like, sub for more. Buy the merch you want to support the channel. I don't know. I've made my merch as cheap as I possibly can, so there's no Christmas sale or anything. But hope you have a good one regardless. Sign on and stay epic.